PW660. Now, it probably sounds like a bunch of mumbo jumbo to you at home, but this is a really important piece of the City of Prince George's water system. Now, we're going to take you on the first edition, the inaugural one inside city limits, to explain a really important piece of how your city works. Come on inside. Now, yeah, we're inside this water station. There's a lot going on, although it's not a water station. What's the proper name for this?
Water pump station,
or
a collector well, technically.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cheyenne McGee, for the introduction. This is great. He's one of the people who makes sure you get water through your taps. That's the important part that you need to know. You're going to tell us a lot more than this, so I'll let you take it away with the tour.
Yeah, sure. So this is what we call PW660 is our number technical term, or a lot of people refer to it as fish trap is the name of this station. So this is a collector well. We're along the Nechako River, and this is actually what supplies the entire heart. So everything on the north side of the Nechako River gets water from this station. Oh, cool. And right now there are 2 pumps here. We are doing a massive upgrade. So essentially what this is, it's kind of a giant reservoir in the ground. Okay. It's about 100 feet deep. And you can see these little kind of stubs here. So those are valves down below. Each one of those has what we call a lateral, and it goes about 50 meters out. So I kind of tell people, if you draw a sun, you got your kind of, you know, your star, your things going out, it looks like that, right? So there's one going out, there's 12 of them out, about 50 meters each. And then they have perforations on that pipe that actually draw the water into this giant circle. So this is kind of, it is called a caisson, but usually a regular well has just a piece of pipe in and you pull it out that pipe. These are using this giant cylinder here is full of water, and then these pipes are what pull the water out and into the distribution system.
Now, these electronics on the wall here, what are these?
So these are called the drives. They're essentially what power the motors. Okay. So we use a lot of computers, a lot of systems, a lot of our stuff's automated, but they're a drive in there. So they're actually, if you open that up, it's a lot of wires and fuses, a lot of electronic components. They're actually what are kind of the drive that tells the pump to come on.
Okay, I was going to say, so this is the brain, this is the brawn.
Pretty much, yes. Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
The brain and the muscle.
Yeah, so it's a lot of automation, a lot of computerized. So how it basically works is we have a reservoir up the hill. When it gets lower, it sends a signal to these pumps saying, I need water, please. Okay. Pumps, they get signals, it goes through the computers to the drives, turns these pumps on, puts water up to the reservoir, and then the reservoir starts to fill, and then it says, I have water, and tells the pumps to shut off.
Magical. I think it's magical. I mean, as a common citizen, I just turn on my tap and say, thank you, City of Prince George. Yes. But yeah, there's much more to it than that. Okay, before we get to the dumbed down version of the part of our tour today, this building, is this one of the newer pump stations?
This is the newest of the 3 big ones. Yeah, this one was built in 2006, I believe. Okay. And we have another one that does kind of downtown and the whole south side BCR site. It's in the, I believe that one was 90s.
Now explain it to the people at home what they're looking at here.
Yeah, so this is a flat map. It's really hard to tell the elevations and the gravity on this one, but essentially there's a lot of colors on here. It has our water, our sewer, and our storm for the whole city on here. So basically we're water blue is the easiest way to put it. So we're right here on the map. So this is the Nechako River. These are pressure zones, these colors. The city's broken up into many different pressure zones depending how it gets fed, but so we're essentially at Fish Trap. It pumps to a reservoir about halfway up foothills. Okay. And then another station pumps it to a reservoir up by Valencia, which is by Alpine Pub. And so this one does the entire heart, and then it's gravity fed from this reservoir all the way back down, all the way into like the North Nechako corridor.
One big loop.
Yep. So that's this well's actual like dedication to the heart.
Interesting. Important, right for the heart. Hits the heart. Okay, this is your tap. Water's coming out. There's a whole lot that it goes through to get to that. Okay, Cheyenne, you take it away from here.
Yeah, so this is a kind of a very basic, obviously not to scale model. So essentially this is how stuff works. We have a well here. So right now it's bringing the water out of the ground through the pipes into your reservoir. So right now the pump's not on. We're actually draining the reservoir from gravity out of your taps. And that's essentially how our systems work. It's more complicated than that, but the basics is we get water out of the ground. Sometimes some of them energize the distribution system as they fill the reservoir, like this does, and then when the pump shuts off and people are using water, your reservoir drops. And then when it needs water, the pumps come on and you just repeat.
So when people go, all those reservoirs, those big concrete things, whatever, those are useless. No.
Yeah, so they're actually as big as they are, obviously for water demand, but our biggest thing is fire protection. So they are way oversized for the water demand of of all the residents, but they're built based on fire protections for particular areas. So essentially, we run on percentages. Essentially 50% to us is our zero. We kind of 50% of the water is fire protection, so that we don't want to go below 50% ever. We do sometimes if it's for maintenance. We can drop down and it's temporary, and we've pre-planned it, and all the reservoirs around it are full and stuff like that, right?
There's a lot of things and moving parts that has to go through to get to you. So it's definitely make me appreciate when I turn on the tap.
Absolutely.
So thank you. And Prince George, by the way, you were saying, I agree, it's some of the best tasting water you could have.
Yeah, we actually don't treat here, so more on the technical side. We don't do any type of filtration or treatment. Our water is right out of these wells out of the ground and right to the consumer. We add chlorine, obviously we have to disinfect it, but that is it. Yeah, no other type of treatment for our water. It's some of the best water in North America as far as abundance and quality goes.
I love it. Well, it's been a great edition here of Inside City Limits. Yeah, I have an appreciation for what our water system does, and well, there's no other way to end this, Cheyenne, without saying cheers to great water here in the City PG. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Explore Inside City Limits on CKPG Today. Brought to you by the City of Prince George. Follow us online, download the City of PG app, or subscribe to City newsletters to stay up to date on what's happening in your community.
Miss an episode? That's okay, life gets busy. We get it. Or maybe you didn't miss anything, but you're here to watch that one feature again because honestly, it was that good. No judgment. Here's the good news. You can relive every moment of the CKPG Today Show whenever you want. Head over to ckpgtoday.ca, click on the Today Show tab, and voila. So grab some snacks, kick back, and binge away because let's face it, life's too short to miss out on great local TV.
It's time for another edition of Money Matters here, and today we got a great guy in studio with us, Dan Wingham from Integris Credit Union. Thanks so much for making the time to come chat today.
Finally get to sit down with Caden Fanshaw. Happy to be here.
Well, thanks. Okay, we got lots to talk about today. We're going to talk about a little bit about credit unions, what they're all about, and especially Integris. Okay, I'll let you start. Where do you want to start on Integris here? Because there's a lot.
Sure. Well, you know, I'm here to impart, educate and motivate with respect to credit unions and why they're such a great option for people in their day-to-day financial decision making. There's a lot of misnomers around what credit unions are, perhaps. So I want to clarify that a little bit. Ultimately, we are a financial cooperative. Okay, what that means is that we don't have customers, we have members. But another word you can interchange there is owner. So when you join a credit union like Integris, you know, you buy a share, which is a very small sum of money, a little bigger if you're a business, but totally affordable. And then you become part owner of the business. And with that, you have the ability to share in the profits that we generate. If you're so inclined, you can vote for special resolutions or our board of directors annually. But ultimately, it's a greater economic participation in the business. You're not just a fee-paying customer. Money comes back to you at the end of the year, at least in part, not all the money typically. But members or owners get paid dividends because they own part of the business. And so we have a couple of shares classes, so you can participate little or you can participate more, depending on your own attitude and aptitude for that. So that's the big difference.
Yeah.
Another one that I want to coax out is, where does the money go?
Yes.
With the competition, I mean the big banks here,
Yep.
They exist in communities across the nation to extract as much of that financial resource, money, to repatriate to their head offices and ultimately to their shareholders. We're the antithesis of that. So the money that we make, our profits, stay here in community. They go back to our members by way of dividend, but they also go back into community by way of community investment, which is really my job at Integris. So
yeah, I was going to say, I feel like people don't understand here, like the big banks, yes, they're around, but Integris, you see the dividends, what you guys, yes, as a member, but also like with the community involvement of Integris as well.
That's right.
And that's part of the perks of being a member. You're part of that.
That's kind of the DNA of the organization. Now, some members will participate. You know, it was really exciting. We were out in Vanderhoof in early June for the School District 91 Sturgeon release, where they bring 900 kids from across the school district from as far away as, I'm not sure if Tackle was there this year, but they come from Fraser Lake, from Fort St. James, and from Vanderhoof. And the idea is that in partnership with the White Sturgeon Recovery Initiative and the hatchery there with the school district, they're putting fish back in the river. And so to be out there is incredible to watch all the kids have that learning experience. Everyone's on hand, from the Conservation Service to obviously the White Sturgeon Recovery Group to the Exploration Place was there this year. But it's really a big expo there at Riverside Park where these kids get to learn a lot more about being a riverfront community, the importance of the ecology and the ecosystem and of the sturgeon to all of that. My point in drawing all of that out is that, I forgot my point.
I think how important Integris is to making that happen.
Well,
I think you're going to go with that.
We're a minor partner in that. But, oh yeah, my point was member participation. And so this year we had a member drive all the way up from Quesnel to be part of that. She wanted to be there serving the kids lunch. She wanted to kiss the sturgeon, which she did do. It was just one of those unique moments where our members see the value that we're providing to community and wanted to participate in that directly.
That's awesome. And now this is part of the network here of just how Integris, like, I mean, when you come through the communities, you see the sign, "Welcome to Integris Country," which I always, I appreciate because it's like, I'm home again. But you guys are everywhere here in North Central BC. Sure.
So we have branches as far west as Fraser Lake. We've recently opened a branch in McBride, so that's our most eastern point, and we'll come to that in a little bit. We've got 3 branches here in Prince George. I skipped over Vanderhoof and Fort St. James. And then we have a branch in Quesnel and a branch in Clinton, all with a sort of a unique backstory. And Integris is an interesting example in the credit union world. In the early 2000s, the 3, so Nechako Valley Credit Union in Vanderhoof and Fort St. James, Prince George Savings, and Quesnel and District, they all had something that the other needed. And so it was the first example of its kind in BC where instead of it being a merger or an acquisition, 3, call it equal entities, came together to benefit from not only the geography, but how each did business in the respective markets. So in Quesnel, the Quesnel team had a really strong insurance agency, and the rule with insurance is you kind of need to put your shingle up for about 15 years to have the maturity to have access to the products to be able to compete with the bigger insurance brokerages. Prince George had Prince George and a sizable commercial book, so business lending and banking. And then Vanderhoof was a profit machine. Like, they had enormous penetration in the mortgage market out to the west. So bringing that all together to form Integris, the first of its kind amalgamation in the province in 2004, 2005, changed the game for cooperative finance here in the region.
I love it. Well, thanks for coming in today. This has been great. We're going to talk about the rural integration of Integris and how important that is on the next episode of Money Matters. You can catch it then. But thanks so much for coming in today, Dan.
No problem.
Catch up.
Yeah, pleasure. Thank you.
Money Matters on CKPG Today is brought to you by Integris Credit Union. From here, all in for you.
Time for another edition of Post Your Pet on the Show. This one comes today from Jessica Herdman. You're looking at Lacey showing us how it's done here. Yeah, a little dive. You can see maybe a past member of the Prince George Barracudas, perhaps the Pisces Swim Club. Heck of a shot. Thanks so much for sending this one in. Post Your Pet, of course, continues all week long and all summer long here on the show. Head online to ckpgtoday.ca. Post your pet online for a chance to win $1,500 in prizes, courtesy of our sponsors, WR Ventures, Coops Bike Shop, and Aberdeen Glen Golf Course, to name a few.
Yeah, W-E, so many letters, so many numbers. And there's a lot of stories to tell here in the Prince George Cemetery. That's what we're going to do today, try and tell some of them with Chad from the museum. Because there is a lot of Prince George history that lies in the Prince George Cemetery. And, well, you're about to learn some of it on the show today. Come on inside. Now up to our first stop here in the tour here, a little historical tour for you today. Granny Seymour. Now, Chad, thanks for making the time to chat today. This is awesome to have you.
Oh, this is great. It's always great to make time for you, Caden. We love chatting with you guys about our local history here.
And you know what? I love that we came up with this idea and thought, you know what? We should go on a walk in the cemetery and talk about some historical figures that are here, including Granny Seymour. Let's start on her because this is an interesting story and an interesting story that continues on today, which we learned about.
100%. Margaret Mary Boucher Seymour. Yes, Canada's grandmother. That's how she was known in the 60s. And it's interesting because she's the latest of the burials that we're going to be visiting today.
Okay.
But she's definitely was born the earliest. And that was part of Granny Seymour's acclaim, was that her age was quite incredible. And there's some debate about what her actual age was at death. I've heard different numbers. Here it's marked down as 113 years old.
Wow.
And active, living on her own, chopping her own firewood right up until the end. Sharp as a whip, as I found out on my way to find this location by the great-granddaughter of Granny Seymour, who was coming to visit her at the grave here with her family.
Now to stop number 2 here, Willa Sager. This is the name here, Chad. Now explain to me the story behind this one. This one looks very old as well.
This one is quite old, yeah. Willa died in the 1920s, 1926, if memory serves correctly. Now, she was married to one Mr. Charles Sager, who has maybe not the notoriety that he deserves in this town for how an important figure he was in our early history. He was both of them people of color, early black community here in Prince George. He was one of the first barbers here in Prince George. He actually took a scow with a floating barber shop and bathhouse down the rivers, going from work camp to work camp, offering baths and haircuts to the railway workers, and finally settled here in Prince George. We think with his wife. We get some references to Mrs. Charles Sager, right, and things like that. And so the first mention of her by her name, Willa, is in the newspaper, is the announcement of her death. Now, apparently she was quite a popular lady, because people turned out in droves with flowers and donations going on about what an important figure she was to local charities. And they were quite involved in their local church, in the theater community, in a local glee club, all of these different charities.
Now another stop here in the Prince George Cemetery, and this one looks particularly interesting. Who is this, Chad?
This is Steve Berlinick.
Okay.
Steve Berlinick, I was not aware of this gentleman until Mr. George Davidson from the Heritage Commission turned me on to him. He was a 1930s worker, a foreign worker, that they were trying to deport because there were some unruly communist work camps in Prince George and around the region. And this unfortunate gentleman died at one of these work camps, I believe out in Penny. And all of his comrades came down here and carved out,
because I was going to say,
beautiful headstone with this message written in communist red, right? Wow. And they had a huge funeral for him, where people came from all over to celebrate.
And now,
what he did.
This is not in the old section of the cemetery. We're going to get to that later with Inga Anderson, but. Yes. This is one of the older graves, I feel like.
This is one of the older graves, yes. This was 1932, 33, yes.
Yeah. It's right on the, that's crazy. And the hand chisel thing, this must be rare as well. I feel like people do not do that.
No, people do not do this generally, and I think it's another one of those neat little nuances that you find from grave to grave when you're looking around here and seeing the difference of what makes all of these sites unique.
Now to our final stop, the grand finale, you could say, here at the Prince George Cemetery. Chad, you've been waiting for this one all day. Inga Anderson.
Inga, my dear Inga. Yes, wonderful, wonderful woman. I don't think enough of Prince George or BC or Canada, for that matter, really appreciate what a treasure we had in Inga Anderson.
So I was going to say, for those who don't know, talk to me about the treasure and a little bit about her.
So, ridiculously talented woman, fearless, ahead of her time. She started her own dance academy here at the age of 16, Caden.
Wow.
At the age of 16.
I wasn't doing that at the age of 16.
She won top honors in the United States as a Dance Master of America, beating out 700 other dance masters.
And then there's a story of her performing the front lines too.
Oh, the Blackout Girl.
Yeah.
I mean, that alone should get her the credit that she deserves. She was the very first to go and perform for the troops 10 days into the war, Caden, 10 days. We give Bob Hope, no disrespect to Mr. Hope and his wonderful golf skills, but Inga was 10 days in, going to the front line, singing for the troops, singing these scathing, hilarious anti-Hitler songs that the troops wanted to hear, with active combat behind her. Yeah. Can you imagine having mortars go off where the Costco is right now?
It's insane to think about.
As you're performing for people.
Now, Chad, obviously these are pretty, I want to say short headstones or grave markers, but they're not grand. I mean, is there a reason for that? Do you think just how it was?
Well, yes, so the grave markers, the headstones in this cemetery, in this section of the cemetery especially, they have to conform to, at the time, a certain height restriction because of the location of the former airport and the landing strip there.
That's insane to think about.
The planes would clip ones that were larger.
Huh. History, would you have it? Well, you learned a lot today, and Chad, thank you for taking the tour with us here in the Prince George Cemetery. Of course, you can come walk through. They're always here for you to come visit, come put flowers on, well, there's plenty more to learn, so maybe we'll come back with you as well one day. But yeah, appreciate this. I feel like we learned a lot. Thank you, Chad.
I hope so. I look forward to coming back here.
Hey there, got an idea or a suggestion for the show? Reach out and connect through our social media or send us an email at letstalk@ckpgtoday.ca. Looking back to 1995 today, work starting on a brand new dealership, the home of Wood Wheaton Chevrolet. Now you see it along Highway 16 West, and you can see even Craig Wood and Colin Kinsley inside the excavator here to kick things off. That's a kind of a fun little photo here. But of course, it came from the Pine Valley driving range and turned into the car dealership where it stands today. But plenty of land has changed in that area, of course, but definitely a cool photo to look back on from 1995.
Thanks so much for watching today. Hope you learned a little something. And yeah, you can always rewatch anything you want on ckpgtoday.ca as well. And don't forget to submit those post your pet photos, folks. Love seeing them come in, and keep them coming because there's plenty of contests left. Okay, thanks so much for watching today. We'll see you for more tomorrow. Bye for now.